Welcome to ILTV's Israel Daily. I'm Ladarga Velazi, and coming up in today's newscast. Palestinian terrorist carries out a stabbing attack in Jerusalem. The two officers that neutralized him are under investigation. Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett speaks out against Iran's nuclear program as the first round of talks ends with no progress. And the city of Bethlehem lights its giant Christmas tree ahead of the holiday season. Another stabbing attack in Jerusalem. A Palestinian terrorist on Saturday night stabbed an Israeli man outside of Jerusalem's Old City before he was shot and killed by security forces at the scene. Let's take a look at the report.
Avraham Elimelech was on his way home from praying in the Old City when he was attacked by a Palestinian terrorist near the Damascus Gate. A video released by Israeli police shows a Palestinian man crossing the street before turning around and then several times stabbing Elimelech, an ultra-Orthodox man who had been walking a few steps behind him. The terrorist then runs towards an Israeli border policeman and is shot several times by him and a second officer as he falls to the ground. Elimelech was taken to the hospital after suffering moderate injuries. A second video circulating on social media appears to show one of the officers shooting at the Palestinian terrorist after he was already lying on the ground. The Palestinian, identified as 25-year-old Mohammed Shaukat Salima from Sadfit in the West Bank, was killed. The video has prompted calls for an investigation into the two officers for the excessive use of force. On Sunday, the two police officers were brought in for questioning and released without conditions, the Justice Ministry announced. The move has prompted a division among Israeli politicians and the Israeli public, with Prime Minister Naftali Bennett making a statement in support of the two officers at the weekly cabinet meeting in Jerusalem on Sunday.
בנוגע לאירוע אתמול בשער שכם, אני שמח שהפעם, זמן לא רב אחרי שהסרטון הפלסטיני הופץ, הסרטון החתוך, אז אנחנו מצידנו, המשטרה ומערך ההסברה שלנו הוציאו תוך זמן מאוד קצר את הסרטון המלא, את האמת, וזה הפך את התפיסה על פיה. ולכן אני מציע לכולם אף פעם לא למהר לחרוץ משפט בנוגע להתנהגות של לוחמים במצבים מורכבים בשטח. מול הטרור. תמיד עדיף להמתין רגע. בכל מקרה, הסרטון המלא לא מותיר מקום לספק. הלוחמת והלוחם פעלו בצורה מצוינת, בדיוק כפי שנדרש מלוחמים במצב מבצעי כזה. הם נטרלו את הדוקר באופן המתבקש. מגיעים להם הערכה וגיבוי של כולנו למי שמנעו, פשוט מנעו רצח ופעלו בתושייה מבצעית תוך שברירי שנייה בודדים.
Meanwhile, the victim, who is recovering in the hospital, offered his thanks to the officers and was informed of the investigation into their actions.
רציתי להגיד להם תודה רבה, ממש הצילו אותי. אם הם לא היו שם, נראה לי, אני לא הייתי פה היום איתכם.
רגע, אני רוצה לשאול אותך עוד משהו. אתה יודע שאותם שוטרים נחקרים עכשיו? אותם שוטרים שבעצם ירו במחבל?
לא, בושה וחרפה, איך זה, הרי הסרטון מלא רואים. בן אדם בא להציל, חוקרים אותו על מה?
And now joining us with more on this story is ILTV reporter Asaf Nissan. Asaf, thank you for joining us. So the shooting of the Palestinian terrorist and the subsequent investigation into the two Israeli officers has caused some division within the Israeli and political and public sphere. So far, we've seen the Prime Minister throw his full support behind the two officers. Who else is speaking out on their behalf?
Well, Lida, we're seeing support coming from all over the right-wing coalition and opposition, of course. We're seeing, in addition to Prime Minister Bennett, we're seeing former Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu also showing his full support. Also, of course, Minister of Interior Edith Shaked, Minister of Communications Yoaz Hendel, and even Minister of Internal Security Omer Barlev, who, despite being a member of the Labour Party, which is considered more the moderate left, is also showing his full support and even saying, in case there is any doubt, there's no doubt.